The Great Gatsby might be the most misunderstood novel in American literature. It's not just about lavish parties and unrequited love, but a devastating critique of the American dream itself.
That's insightful. And you know what's striking? How perfectly it mirrors our current era of influencers and tech billionaires trying to buy their way into high society.
Well, Daniel, let's dive into these legendary Gatsby parties because there's something else. We're talking events that would make modern influencers jealous, full orchestras, champagne fountains, hundreds of guests in Rolls-Royces. And here's the kicker: most never even met their host.
Hmm. It's like the original Instagram flex, isn't it? All that spectacle just to catch the attention of one person, Daisy Buchanan.
Speaking of Daisy, she's the embodiment of everything wrong with old money society. That famous line where she hopes her daughter grows up to be a beautiful little fool, it tells us everything about the emptiness behind the glamour.
Oh my gosh, yes. And what's tragic is how Gatsby spends 5 years building this entire persona just to impress someone who's a human void. Like he transforms himself from James Gat's poor farm boy into this mysterious millionaire.
You know what's fascinating about that transformation? Gatsby doesn't just change his name and make money. He studies how to speak differently, stand differently, even how to smile. But there's always something slightly off that the old money crowd can sense.
Well, that reminds me of that heartbreaking scene where he's throwing all those expensive shirts around, trying so desperately to prove his worth through material possessions.
And let's talk about Tom Buchanan as the perfect villain. He represents everything toxic about inherited wealth. He's racist, he's a bully, he cheats on his wife openly, and he has absolutely zero self awareness about any of it.
That's precisely what makes the novel so relevant today. We're still dealing with these same issues of privilege and accountability. The rich get away with murder while everyone else pays the price.
Speaking of paying the price, that final sequence where Gatsby is standing guard outside Daisy's house, still believing she'll call him, while she and Tom are inside casually having dinner and plotting their escape, is just devastating.
And then there's that symbolic final scene in the pool, his first and last time using it all summer. The autumn's coming, everything's ending, but Gatsby can't see it because he's still reaching for that green light.
You know, that green light at the end of Daisy's dock might be the most perfect symbol in American literature. It represents everything just out of reach. The American dream itself, always visible, but never quite attainable.
So, what do you think makes this novel still so powerful today, nearly a century after it was written?
Well, I think it's because we're still living in Gatsby's world in many ways. We're still dealing with the same questions about authenticity versus appearance, about whether you can reinvent yourself in America, about the actual cost of dreams.
That's why that final page hits so hard about boats beating against the current, being borne back ceaselessly into the past. We're all still reaching for our green lights, aren't we?
Exactly. And maybe that's the real tragedy of Gatsby, not just his death, but the fact that the dream he was chasing was already dead before he even started. It's a warning about the danger of building your entire life around a single ideal, whether that's wealth, status, or even love.
Like you said earlier, it's not just about the 1920s or the American dream. It's about the universal human tendency to believe that happiness is always in the next party, the next purchase, the next relationship.
And that's why this novel will always be relevant, because as long as we keep chasing those green lights, those symbols of success and acceptance, we're all a little bit like Gatsby, believing that if we just try hard enough, we can repeat the past and make our dreams come true.